Okay, guys, welcome to the writing part of this today. We talked a little bit about getting the reader's attention, and sometimes those are called hooks or attention grabbers, and they're usually kind of the first sentence or two of the paragraph. So that's really going to give the reader, it's going to pique their interest, and it's also going to let them know really what that paragraph is about. And the bigger attention grabber it is, the more interested the reader is going to be. And think of it the same way when you read. If that first sentence is really boring, you might not know what the rest of the paragraph is going to be about. You might not care. So it's important to do what they're called attention grabbers. So I've shown you a couple examples here. So this says, once again, if we were in class, you'd put a check mark next to more effective topic sentence, explain why it's more effective than the other. So our two examples would be, everyone should recycle. True. But the second sentence is, trees are becoming scarcer as we continue to use them for paper products and building materials. Okay. So I think the second one would probably be the better attention grabber, because it kind of gives you a little more information. It tells you, because we're using so much paper, trees are becoming scarcer. And not only using trees for paper products, but we're also using for building materials. So that one gives you a little more information. It might pique your interest a little bit, because then you think about, oh wow, everything that basically when I go out to eat, especially now, everything's in paper containers. We're using paper in class, napkins, Kleenex, all those are paper products. So even when you go to the store now, some things are packaged in paper. So that one kind of gives you an idea. Well, that one probably piques my attention a little bit more. The second one, yesterday at the school cafeteria, I noticed that there wasn't a single vegetable in sight. And the second sentence is, vegetables are part of a healthy, balanced diet. Now, they're both fine. You could use either one of those, but the first one, yesterday at the school cafeteria, I noticed there wasn't a single vegetable in sight. I mean, that kind of puts it in perspective, because you can think about the number of times you're in a school cafeteria, you're getting your food, and you didn't see a single vegetable. So it kind of gives you the perspective. And that one just tells you, which is true, that vegetables are part of a healthy, balanced diet. Yeah, most of us know that anyways. But the first one probably gives you a little better visual. And sometimes that's what writing is. It can take you to a place that you can think about a little bit more in your own head. And the last one we are going to look at here is, did you know the average American doesn't get the recommended amount of exercise, and Americans need to work out more? So the first one's probably a little bit better. We all know we probably need to work out a little bit more. But that first one gives you kind of a little context that Americans don't get the recommended amount of exercise. And, for maybe to make that first one a little better, maybe if you knew what, I think it's 40 minutes a day is what I think they recommend, 40 minutes of walking to get your heart rate up. If you'd have put one more detail in there, it would have been perfect. But the second one, Americans need to work out more. Everyone probably knows that. It doesn't really grab your attention. The first one doesn't. It probably grabs your attention a little bit more, but like I'm saying, if you had one more detail in there, it would probably be great. Okay, so now I want to look at basically, this is an essay, and I want to read this one to you first, and we'll kind of break it down, because it's going to talk about attention grabbers. Okay. Let me go back up to the top here. Okay, let me pull this one up. Okay, so 5 paragraphs. In today's world, it seems like everyone has a blog. This leaves many wondering if blogs have a place in education. I think they do, because blogs provide students a way to share their accomplishments, seek advice for improving their work, and connect with fellow students around the world. That's the opening paragraph. So it's about blogs. Okay. Second paragraph. Students can build their self-confidence by sharing their accomplishments on their blogs. By writing about how they are proud of their work, students validate their own self-worth. By sharing their accomplishments, students encourage others. Okay. Next paragraph. Blogging also provides students a way of getting constructive criticism or additional thoughts on a way to improve their work or solve a problem that they are having. Other students have experience with the problem the student is having and can offer advice. The students can also learn from mistakes of others. Students from around, excuse me, that's the next paragraph. Students from around the world can follow a blog. This provides a way for students to learn about their cultures. It also allows them to see that kids from around the world struggle with some of the same issues. And the last paragraph or closing paragraph, it says, student blogging is a good idea because it provides students a way to share their accomplishments, seek advice for improving their work, and connect with fellow students around the world. All schools should try letting students have an individual class or blog. Okay, so you guys, I'm gonna actually make this, try to make it a little bit bigger for you guys. Okay. All right, so we just read that. And it's a persuasive essay. It's trying to get people to use blogs, and it's perfectly fine. It would pass the test. But I want to get into some of the details. Okay. So it says, what did the writer forget in the first introductory paragraph? So it says, in today's world, it seems like everyone has a blog. This leaves many wondering if blogs have a place in education. I think they do because blogs provide students a way to share their accomplishments, seek advice for improving their work, and connect with all students around the world. So basically what this first paragraph really lacks, and you can see in the red right here, they did not include an attention-grabbing statement. So think about, it just talks about why people use blogs. And maybe you could relate something that really you read in a blog one time that was really exciting, or something that's really going to get the reader's attention about blogs. Okay, so let's look at the second paragraph here. It says, students can build their self-confidence by sharing their accomplishments on their blogs. By writing about how they're proud of their work, students validate their own self-worth. By sharing their accomplishments, students encourage others. Once again, it says the main topic was building self-confidence through blogging. Examples have been provided to prove these statements. So that one's okay, but maybe one thing you might want to put in there is like an accomplishment. Something that someone did in their blog, they talked about that they could really, or something they're proud of, specifically what they're proud of. Like maybe, some activity they did, or some club they started via their blog, or how when they wrote their blog, they've got 30 responses from a classmate saying what a great idea that was. Or also, it validates your self-worth. Talk about how it validated your self-worth. Like I put something in there about how I studied for a test and I got 20 responses from my classmates saying what a great idea that was. That's just something, maybe you could spice it up a little bit. And then now the third paragraph says, blogging also provides students a way of getting constructive criticism or additional thoughts on a way to improve their work or solve a problem they are having. Others may have experienced the problem the students having can offer helpful advice. The student can also learn from mistakes of others. That's kind of what I was talking about that way. If you put about, I'm struggling with this class and this is how I study, students could probably give you feedback about, hey, have you tried this, try this, do that, or something like that. Or even like, if you were even out of school and you're talking about, I have a hard time, I'm always trying to cook this meal, I follow the recipe, it never comes out the way it's supposed to. Then maybe someone could read that and they give you feedback on, oh, you're try this, try that, or maybe you're forgetting this. So the next question is, does the second, third paragraph effectively prove the point argued? Why or what? Yes, but examples could have been proved in the statements. So it talks about self-confidence and getting constructive criticism, but they didn't put any specific examples of how that might have helped them. And the last one says, is including paragraphs sufficient, why or why not? And we're going to look at the last paragraph. It says, student blogging is a good idea because it provides students a way to share their accomplishments, seek advice for improving their work, and connect with fellow students around the world. All schools should try letting their students have an individual class blog. I think that one would be okay. It says, should remind the audience what it wanted to get them excited. So once again, there's not really an attention grabber in there. If you were to put a specific accomplishment or how you got advice about their work or how you were able to connect with someone, if you put a blog up and someone from like the United Kingdom or somewhere in Asia or South America connects with you, you can talk about how it connected you with someone, 5,000 miles away or whatever, or even, someone if we're in New York, someone in California or Texas connected with you, another student. That would be kind of how you could basically give an example of how that blog helped you connect. See, these are all specific details, and the more details you have in your writing, the better it is. So what three things should the concluding paragraph do? In this case, it reminds the audience of what you want, sum up your reasons, get them excited. Okay, so the audience, so basically what you're doing here, you're talking about student blogging and why blogging is a good idea. And the last one, why it gets them excited. It did that, but once again, it didn't give any specific details. Now this, if we go back and look at this as a whole, this essay is fine, you guys, it really is. But if you were reading it, you'd be like, yeah, it was pretty good, but there weren't any specific details in there. And that's what really makes the reader get excited. Okay, because you want to think about you when you're reading something. If there aren't any interesting details, you might not keep reading it, but if there's something that piques your interest, like we're talking about this, I started a blog and I got 4 responses from students in Japan, or, I basically got 300 responses from 20 different states. That maybe really would pique your interest. You're like, wow, this person's connecting with people all over the country, all over the world. Or about how, it gave you a tip about studying for a test or a recipe. How I've always been doing this recipe, it never comes out, but when I put it in a blog, I basically 2 or 3 people gave me some tips, and now my recipe comes out great. That would be some of the details that it might get people interested in blogging, because that's what you're really trying to do. You're trying to get other people to start blogging, and if you show how it really helped you with some details, then maybe that's going to encourage other people to start blogging as well. All right, I'm going to stop there, you guys. I'll put this up in Writing Day so you can look at this again. And just remember, when we are writing, you want to try to include an attention grabber, especially like in that opening paragraph. You really want to get people excited. And every paragraph after that, you've got to put a detail in there that's really going to pique someone's interest. Because the more exciting the writing is, usually the more interested the reader is. All right. So you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.